What's up, everyone? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel, and it's time to give you my way too early New Year's Six Bowl projections heading into the 2023 college football season, and also my college football playoffs, semifinal matchups, and also pretty much, everything about the New Year's Six Bowls, everything. So pretty much, we have a lot of bowl games to cover. There's going to be a lot of, hype for the bowl games as well. And I meant to do this video yesterday, but instead I didn't really have time to do it, so now we're going to be doing it. And I normally don't post on Saturdays, but pretty much, I can post now every day because of the, season being over. So we're in the off season, and like I said, it's way too early to know about these teams and pretty much, get to know about these rosters as well. And we'll pretty much, start my schedule preview / projected records tomorrow. So stay tuned for those videos. But let's get right into my New Year's Six Bowl projections and, pretty much, look at the college football playoff matchups as well. So we'll start with those semifinal matchups here for the college football playoff. And as of right now, here in the Rose Bowl, the semifinal, I got Michigan versus Florida State. You look at Michigan, where they were last year. I think there's pretty much a lot of hype for Michigan coming into the year. That's why I have to put them here in the Rose Bowl. They're pretty much, maybe the number 2 seed, if you probably would say. Michigan does return J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum. So, yeah, they got a ton of production coming back. The defense should be overall pretty good for Michigan, and they really shouldn't have any problems whatsoever on that side of the ball. And you're probably thinking, why do I have Florida State here? Well, it's pretty much the hype from this Florida State team. And this is kind of based off of, the way too early top 25 video that I done the other day. They are really hyping up this Florida State team. They got them probably at number 4, I believe. So if you look at Florida State from where they were last year, I mean, they got 10 wins under Mike Norvell. And, maybe that could be the case once again this year. But maybe this time it's a college football playoff appearance. We know they could probably beat Clemson in the ACC championship because there are no divisions in the ACC. The ACC is going to be pretty much wide open this year. Maybe Florida State has a one loss. That probably comes from Clemson in the regular season, and they probably get revenge in that game. And they get in the college football playoff as a one-loss team. And this is where they probably will end up at in the Rose Bowl with a matchup against Michigan. I think this should be a pretty good matchup if this game were to happen, maybe like right now. But Florida State and Michigan, pretty much, two teams that are, returning a lot of experience, especially Florida State. But the transfer portal has been pretty much the best thing about this Florida State team so far in the offseason. All right, to the Sugar Bowl, the other college football playoff semifinal matchup. And I got Georgia versus Ohio State, a rematch from last year. Now, Ohio State has a lot of question marks. They're going to have a new quarterback. C.J. Stroud is gone. Why do I have Ohio State here? Well, it's because just based off of where they were last year. And, maybe Ohio State will go undefeated in the regular season, probably beat Michigan, but they get in there as a number 4 seed perhaps. And then Georgia, I think, is pretty much, basically the top team in the country. You think about this Georgia team, they're pretty much, the top program in college football right now. And Ohio State, I think, is pretty much, going to get in there if they pretty much lost, in the regular season. Michigan, maybe that's their only one loss and they get revenge. I mean, actually, they probably get in there as an 11-1 team, perhaps. But, maybe they still go undefeated, probably lose the Big Ten championship, but they still somehow get in. But as of right now, I got Michigan winning the Big Ten championship as well. And, I think Ohio State will get in there. And this is pretty much a rematch from last year's matchup between these two teams. And I'd like to see it again because this was a back-and-forth contest. So, all right, let's go to the other New Year's Six Bowl games now. Looking at the Cotton Bowl, we got Tennessee versus Penn State. And like I said, this is just based off of where the teams were last year, like how they finished their seasons. And Tennessee, I think, is pretty much in that conversation and make another New Year's Six Bowl perhaps. They do lose a ton of production at wide receiver. Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman are gone. And they pretty much lose quite a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball, like I mentioned. And, for Tennessee, they're going to have a new quarterback, but I think they're still going to be pretty good on that offensive side of the ball. I mean, that doesn't really concern me that much. And, Penn State, I think the, team is pretty much, heading in the right direction. You look at who they will lose. They lose Sean Clifford at quarterback. So they're going to have a new quarterback next year. So both of these teams will have different quarterbacks. But I think I like to see this matchup here in the Cotton Bowl. And like I said, it's way too early here to be doing these projections. And pretty much, we're in January. We're not even close to, the season being started. So just want to clear that up. So Tennessee versus Penn State. I got this one in the Cotton Bowl. Moving on to the Fiesta Bowl. I got Texas versus USC. Texas is a team that, has a lot of hype coming in, but they're not in the top 20 or not in the top 10 in rankings. But maybe that could change probably heading into the this season. Arch Manning coming over. What is he going to be like for this Texas team? And for USC, I know they lost the Pac-12 championship, but as of right now, I think they'll be the favorites going into the Pac-12 this season. There's some other contenders out there like Utah, Washington. It's pretty much wide open in the Pac-12 with no divisions in the Pac-12. It's just crazy. Now there's going to be no divisions in the ACC. Let's talk about Texas, though. I think if Texas, wins the Big 12 championship, and also if they lose some of those games in the regular season, they'll pretty much be in a New Year's Six Bowl. I think, they'll have a chance to maybe be a playoff contender, but, as of right now, I don't really have them as a playoff contender. I don't have any Big 12 team as a playoff contender. And I think the best teams that have a chance to win the Big 12 championship will pretty much be almost everybody, like maybe Texas, Oklahoma. Those are probably the top two teams that I think have a chance to win the Big 12 championship this year from where they were last year. But as of right now, this is the matchup I have. It's the Fiesta Bowl, Texas versus USC. Moving on to the Peach Bowl, we got Tulane, the highest group of 5 team from last year, facing Notre Dame, a really well-improved team from last year. And Marcus Freeman's first year, I believe, got really, hyped up. I think, heading into next season, there's going to be a lot of hype now. Let's talk about Tulane first. They pretty much bring everybody back from last year. They beat the USC Trojans in the Cotton Bowl, and they bring their quarterback from last year back. So, Tulane should be another really good group of 5 team. And they probably have the best chance out of any group of 5 team, perhaps, to make the playoff. You never know. They could probably make a jump in there, perhaps, but they don't really play anybody on their schedule. Notre Dame is another team that could probably make a jump for the playoff heading into next season. Of course, the transfer of Sam Hartman coming in is going to really help them out a lot. And if he helps them out, Notre Dame's going to be a pretty good team this year. And I had them on my way too early dark horses contenders and also, top contenders video the other day. So, yeah, Notre Dame, I think, will be pretty much, a team that you don't want to miss out on. So, Notre Dame, I think, will pretty much end up here in a New Year's Six Bowl as of right now. But that could change. You never know. I could probably change my picks. I'll give you pretty much, these New Year's Six predictions heading into next year as well when we come into the close to the season. So, all right, the final New Year's Six Bowl game, it's going to be Alabama and Clemson. I had this matchup, pretty much, throughout the rest of the week, during the season when it was going on. For where Alabama was last year, they were an 11-2 type team, so I can't put them in the playoff just yet, but that could probably change in the preseason. I really do see Alabama losing one regular season game, perhaps. Maybe 2 of them, you never know. They could be coming to Texas A&M. Somebody could beat Alabama on that schedule. Maybe LSU could beat them again. You never know. For Clemson, they do have a new offensive coordinator now. They just fired their offensive coordinator. Now they're bringing in the TCU offensive coordinator. So Clemson trying to, turn things around on that offensive side of the ball. If Caleb Klubnik can really stay consistent, Clemson could be a really good team. Just like I mentioned, it's going to come down to the quarterback situation. And I think they probably do make it to the ACC championship, probably perhaps right now. But I think they'll probably lose to Florida State because there's no divisions in the ACC this year. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting with no divisions in the ACC this year. But as of right now, this is the matchup I have for the Orange Bowl, and that's Alabama versus Clemson. So those are my New Year's Six Bowl projections. My way too early, I should say, projections for the New Year's Six Bowls, and also my way too early college football playoff matchups as well. Let me guys know what you think about these predictions, projections. I should say, not say predictions, but let me guys know what you think about these New Year's Six Bowl matchups. Who do you think will end up in a New Year's Six Bowl heading into this year? Or give me your way too early New Year's Six Bowl matchups. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get the views up on this channel and also trying to grow this channel out. And stay tuned here for more on the Lucas Ross Sports Channel.